We are going to discuss assisting the client, which is my main goal as being a financial planner. And sometimes we get bogged down when we go through these courses and we get set up with a whole bunch of rules we have to live with and different organizations that we deal with, and sometimes we forget about the client. So we're getting back to it here. Our goals this session is to discuss ways to help clients focus on charitable gifting, describe how clients can have the best impact for their dollar, discuss the financial planner's fiduciary responsibility, and finally list the best times to discuss charitable gifting with clients. I might note that I had to get this information from other sources, typically talking to other financial planners who specialize in the field, because quite honestly I don't have a lot of experience dealing with all of these charitable gifting from the standpoint of being a business for me. It's always been part of the practice, not a major part, where the people I deal with from learning do basically for their whole career. Let's start off. We need a checklist for the clients. What is important to you as a client? What do you value? What's important to you, and how do you value it? Do you have a particular connection with an issue or cause you'd like to support? Is there a particular geographical area or problem you want to support? How does the desired charities need? What does the desired charities need, and what motivates you to support that charities? Now, having a check like this is, I have always used something like this, similar, dealing with clients when they want to talk about charities, to make sure they're really focused in on what their goal is. Because we might be talking about giving to a church, and all of a sudden it gets, when we talk about charities, they're talking about education or welfare or whatever. So this keeps them kind of focused in and allows you to help them focus in. And let's see, we also want to have the client have a better understanding of the causes they wish to support, because the more they understand the causes they're supporting and the charities, the more after to give money to them. Also, I think they learn on what charities they gave in the past, whether or not they were really using the money properly in the way that the client thinks it should be spent, by looking at their tax returns and the information provided by the various services who review charities. So I like to have the client have a better understanding, and they sometimes enjoy going to online and looking at the charities and see what they spend their money on and what they do with it and what their missions are, etc. It also makes you as a mentor for your client, and client gets to experiment a little bit on different types of organizations. I mean, we talk about giving to schools, or we're giving to health or whatever. There's so many different charities involved. They get to choose which one's best for them based on the information you're helping them look at. And the goal should be deciding on what specific cause or charities they will continue to support. Now that may change every year. In fact, I've had clients who seemed every year had a totally different direction they went on charities. But what we did is we always, at the beginning of the year, went over what did they want to spend the money on, as far as the task and the responsibilities of a charity, and we always stayed within that focus, although the charities for that year might change, the individual charities. Maximizing the impact of the gift, planners should realize that it's counterintuitive for clients to spend money to give money away, and that really, it does come up several times in my career. In fact, when I first started being a financial planner, that was raised to me by several clients when we talked about charitable gifting. We had to spend money to make money go to the charities. The less money spent on fees, the more it is available for the charity. Thus, due diligence of potential charities is a must. I can remember, and I won't name the charity, but it turned out about 90% of the charitable we were giving to, or charity we were giving to, was spent on administrative cost and salaries. And only about 10% at the most actually went to the cause, and it was qualified. And I don't think people are happy with that. So when we do our due diligence, they really appreciate it, that they're spending money that really pays off. Use of donor advised funds tracks the charity's expenditures for you and your client, and that's why I like the donor advisor fund. They do the work that I would have got stuck doing, and they are much better at it than I am, more proficient. So let's say if there's 1,500 charities you're looking at, you don't want to do due diligence on all 1,500 of them. They do it for you. And so that is a benefit, and to you, your client. Fiduciary duty of the financial planner. Again, fiduciary planners have a fiduciary responsibility to be cost conscious and ensure the charity has minimum fees. Again, minimum that varies, and how they defined it varies. Definition becomes a very big item here, and so you really have to look at the tax returns. You have to look at the information you get through due diligence of the charity itself to really come up with what's the best way to do it. And that's part of your fiduciary responsibility. And when to discuss charitable gifting with clients. Well, timing is important. Clients tend to only think about donating at the year end, at tax time, death of a family member or friend, a major calamity. Other than that, it's hard to get their attention during the year. So sometimes at tax time is a good time to get a hold of them, especially if they've have an extra good tax year, or they have a lot of stock that is appreciated drastically that's long term, and makes a lot of sense to take advantage of the tax deductions for charitable gifting. When you know of a death of a family member, is a great time to contact them. And I don't get them the day after the death, but I wait a couple of weeks and then bring up this subject of charitable, and it does make it. And year end, I used to always send out a notice to clients reminding them to get their charitable gifting in before the end of the year, so they could take it as a tax deduction. And it worked for many times. They would call me up and make arrangements to come in and handle it. And we have to remember budget constraints affect when they may be able to give, be it monthly, semi-annually, yearly. And some people can only give it one time because they had a big shot of money this time, such as a bonus or won a lottery or something. Others are able to give it as a part of their budget each week or month. Other times might be recipients of large bonuses, inheritance or lottery winners. There's also, as I mentioned before, times where you can get it. So there's a lot of opportunities. You just got to keep in touch with your clients to know what's coming up with them and what's happening in their life. And I think that's a good reason why you do follow up your clients by phone call or Twitter or whatever. Summary: in this module we learned the process for getting clients started is considering charitable gifting. The client must understand the clauses they will support if they really are going to get involved, and that's the best way to get them involved, and the role of the practitioner in the practice.